Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu coming on a Saturday afternoon just to chit chat. I was talking to several of my friends on the Wisdom app, and now something came up to me. We were talking about spiritual struggle and really going to the goals, the journey, the time period, and all of that. So, I wanted to really relate something I had in this regard about what it meant to me, that kind of thing, right? So I took a one particular practical aspect that we all worry about is meditation, right? Uh, Meditation used to be a process, a practice for me, and then later on it became so natural. It was not like a practice anymore. It was a state in which I am. So then I came to know about meditation being a state of being, not a practice. What does it mean? It means uh, that there is a state of silence, quietness, and happiness and peace within all of us, but we think we are not that. That's why we embark on a travel towards that as though there is a journey and there is something we need to do. But with the knowledge way of doing this thing is really understanding about the mind structure, thoughts, how they happen. Uh, are they really have to happen compulsorily or unconsciously, or we can watch them and thereby slow them down and convert them from negative to positive and eventually make only one thought and go beyond it. And once we establish our real self, then there are no thoughts bothering you. So you are like a conscious person, conscious being that is thoughtless at that moment, at least. So that is the state of being in meditation. That is really being in our silent real self, and then really using thought as a tool. Right now we are victims of the thought, and they come whenever they want, they can go whenever they want, or they can really bother you, or they can come again and again. All those things that we go through, right? And we also aggravate it by exposing ourselves to thoughts from outer areas of several sources. It could be our family members, wife and children, or it could be friends, it could be anybody in the house, or to the telephone, or to the social media, or to the work channels. So many ways we get the information, right? And then that can provoke our thought pattern, and also there can be incidents where we kind of activated by the thought, and then there we cannot really stop it at all. So those kind of things that everybody experiences. So what I wanted to say about today is, why is it a state of being and not a practice? And when, at what stage of life it will be like a state of being, and you can establish yourself and then you stay there, versus you need to do regular practice every day. It's like a room. If you have a room that is empty, you feel very relaxed, very much, with that room, and then you are going to stay there and then enjoy yourself the space and the quietness and all that, right? But you start to accumulate things, and then if you put them in an order where you want to do certain things, that's fine. But you may be putting things in haphazard way, then they get on your nerves. If and you want something, then you have to search for it, and you get frustrated. You make more mess of the mess already, and then that is a problem. So what do you have to do? You have to get those furniture, whatever is there in the room occupying, you want to get it out, right? That's what we do normally. We want empty space, and we want to toss out all the things that we don't need, so instead of putting all the stuff in and then worrying about it, you put them in order, or you put them outside the room to have the room that you can really use and then be free and not confined at all, right? So the same thing is with the mind, where we allow a lot of learning, a lot of things that we need for our livelihood come in, and also a lot of information in our relationship come in, and lot of current affairs of the world come in. So many things we are going to keep on putting in our mind, in our mind all the time, right? Compared to that, what you can do is you can only allow what is needed for you, what is important for you, what is meaningful for you, and embark in a process every day where you empty the things that you don't need, or you have already done, or they are not yet. That means be conscious, be present, and also be aware of allowing all these things that you don't need, right? So that kind of thing really helps you to keep the mind in a state where it is really, really, uh, really helps you to feel, think properly, and really go with what is happening, and then deal with it. And when it's done, you forget about the stuff. So that is what I wanted to discuss today with my friends. That's why I thought I came. I will tell them about what my struggle was with first, like everybody else. I was a doctor. I had so much things to do, practice, insurance companies, family, or patients. So many things come your way, right? When they were coming, what I felt was I need to gather it together and have some peace. Then I started to do the routine practice anybody does, right? But when I'm doing that, that took some time to get used to, right? Then I began to study ancient wisdom and all that, how they have done this and all, learning from all of them, breathing fast, then focusing on one object, then following thoughts and all that, But then when I found out all this is projection of the mind, but if you want to really control the mind, you got to go to the owner of the mind, which is our conscious self. Once we are stuck there, being the real owner, real person, real and identity of ours, then that's like a blessing. Then mind stopped by itself, and then we were able to go around the mind and be in the state where it is silent, where it is really helped us to be serene, calm, and quiet, in peace and in happiness, because that itself is the peace and happiness. So that kind of awareness practices or led me to be in awareness all the time, which you are already, but we think our thoughts are us, and then we pursue them and we make them stronger day by day. And then when we don't want them, they won't go. They have their own way. So this is all a training. So be in awareness, be in conscious sense, in the sense that I am here and now. What am I doing? What is happening? What are the things that I have to do? You do physically, you will be moving away from the constant thought state. You breathe deliberately, you be away from it. Or you focus on whatever you want to do, give your attention to that. Also, other thoughts. So all these things will help you to be that awareness who you are, and then not in the thought stream. That is what we do. We either bring in something like a memory, or somebody comes and tells you that about something happened 1 year ago, and then you go in a trip to that memory spot, and in your mind you revisit it and reinforce that whatever reaction you had, whatever good feeling or ill feeling, whatever you had. Thereby, if you do it enough number of times, it forms its own neurological path, and when you don't know, it will come, right? A lot of people live unconsciously. They don't live consciously. If they live consciously, they can identify the thoughts are coming and going. Thoughts are coming and going. All you have to do is don't hold on to them. don't indulge in them, don't resist them, and then they will come and go. But if you have something that you want to purposefully do that, right, then what you do, you can be conscious about it, attentive about it. And if you go by your day like that every day, then you are in your conscious self. And then what happens, that conscious self doesn't allow the uh, other thoughts coming in, intruding into you. So you feel so much more focused on what you're doing. And once you are done, once you are not allowing the thoughts to come into your particular task, then you are focused more on that and you will finish it and you feel very good about it. Okay. So remember only one thing, be conscious. Other name, be present. Other name, be here and now. So be with it, in mindful of whatever that is happening. I would rather use awareness of what is going on. I don't like the term mindful. I would rather use awarenessful. Okay. Be aware of whatever you are doing, wherever you are, whatever moment you are. And then all that energy goes into the present, your work goes very well. And then you feel really accomplished because you have done everything with pure attention, right? And then it is done, you let it go. But if you hold on to it, then it will again form the same problem. But this is done, victory or defeat. This is done. If you want to learn a lesson, learn it, but then keep it in the back. But otherwise, let it go. So that kind of being in the present, being in the here and now, being in the conscious being, that is real meditativeness, where you don't have to fight the thoughts, you don't have to direct the thoughts, you just allow the thought to come and go, watch it and convert it from negative to positive. Okay, so I hope this makes some sense to some of my friends here. And this is a big deal in some circles because people who don't have any focus or attention, they cannot do their job very well, they cannot enjoy their relationship very well, they cannot really have anything that is really happening to them, right? I mean, they are not aware of it, what's going on, then things can become problems, right? Hi, Nishit.
Hi, hi. Yeah, hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Nishit?
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I will.
So you were telling something, right? I
Yeah,
just wanted. I was. Yeah. You can go ahead.
yeah. I was talking about meditation being a state of being and not a practice as such. But you have to start with the practice. Eventually, you reach the spot where you really want to understand that, right? So that kind of thing. So it's a complicated. It's not that easy, but at the same time, you have to start somewhere. But I wanted to indicate what can be achieved, what can be possible for us in this day and age with all these problems that we have with the lack of focus, attention deficit, and overwhelm, information overload, burnout, stress. All these are really product of not able to really understand our internal thought and feeling and how to use them for betterment of our life, but we are using them for really causing damage for us. That's why I thought I will talk about that state
Yeah.
of being.
Yeah. Just wanted to know, like, from which place you are. You're from India.
I am in USA now, but I came from India in 1981,
Okay. So from which place?
Andhra Pradesh.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So Chakandi. Yeah, Chakandi.
Yeah. So that is what the topic is today. You have any questions regarding the topic, Nishit?
I mean, the topic. I would like the meditation you were talking about, right?
Yeah,
So, and you were also focusing that if anyone who wants to do anything in their life, there has to be a
attention.
focus on what exactly they are doing, and if they are able to concentrate on the work or any part of thing they are going to continue.
Yeah.
So the focus, discipline, and
Your voice is low volume, Nishit. Come to the microphone.
is it audible now properly?
A little better, but still low.
Okay, so now
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
is?
This is correct. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what I listened few things from your side
Yeah,
that you were talking about meditation, you were talking about focus,
yeah,
and if anyone who wants to
yeah,
go ahead and do something in their life, he
yeah,
has to go with focus and discipline.
yeah.
So those two factors you were talking about. So
Exactly.
I would love to listen more about
Yeah,
from your side,
yeah,
your experience. Definitely I'm little bit like in twenties,
yeah.
so I could get a lot of things from your side. Yeah,
Actually, you have an
happy to listen.
advantage, Nishit, because you are 20. That means you had no chance of accumulating a lot of junk in your head like we did, you know, because
Okay.
I'm now 67, right? But I kind of came to this in my 40s, and by the time I was never really stuck with anything dogmatically, but still, you get stuck up because nobody taught us how to be like this, right? We were kind of, the more we think, the better it is, and all that. Uh, so
Mm,
we kind of accumulated. But then, fortunately, I got in touch with people like Krishnamurti, who was talking about mind and no mind too, and Ramana Maharshi. So great sages, great people like that. They do not belong to any particular country, even though they came from India and all that. They had this universal perspective, and they looked at human being as a human being everywhere, and they understood the limitations with which we live. We think, I cannot handle this thought; is going all over. Let me take a medication, or
mm,
something like that, right? Some drug and all that. That kind of things are not really needed. That is what we need to know. As a physician, also, I saw a lot of people getting anxious, getting depressed, a lot of problems, a lot of suffering associated with that. But now it has become much more with this social media, this phone right into our hand. It used to be at least the TV was half an hour affair in the evening, but now 24 hours TV is there, and now it is the social media too. So all these
yeah,
external stimuli are worsening our problem. That's why I need to get into this business of being a coach for the burnout, stress, and all that, which I'm doing. Whoever consults me, who are asks me, I'm more than happy to talk to them. And I have a wellness club in the morning that I like to have more people come in and take suggestions from there, and understand how they can use their mind better, and also really live their life better. You know, Otherwise people are accumulating so much information which is really not needed, and the information is overcrowding them. You know, and then they don't know what to choose.
yeah,
Sometimes it's correct information, sometimes it's not. How do you know what is the correct information? That kind of thing. I got into yoga and ancient wisdom in a way that I wanted to understand, not just to believe it. Right? Physical yoga was good. Then I combined breathing. That was very good. That gave me much more stability with the mind, because mind and breathing are interconnected. If you can slow one, the other one will be slowed down too. So if you want to slow down your thought, sit down and just breathe in, breathe out consciously, and that itself slows down the breathing. But you cannot do it all the time, right? So you want to understand how to watch the thoughts. If you just simply watch the thoughts, then you will see they are
okay.
slowing down too. Yeah, Nishit, you have something to say?
So yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I have one question here.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. I mean, if you can correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah,
So when we talk about medicines, right?
yeah,
Any medicine or healthcare sector.
yeah,
So I have came to know that we are taking any allopathic medicine.
yeah.
So what they are doing is they are not curing the disease. They are just,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, like whatever what I have heard from few of people that they are saying that if someone is having headache, right?
Yeah,
So they are taking painkillers.
yeah,
So what painkiller does is the they block the nerve. I mean the
yeah,
message which is going to brain
yeah,
that you are there is
yeah,
they're not curing it, and they are
yeah. You know,
just
Tylenol is something they can get without prescription, but people also got used to taking medications very quickly for everything. Usually these pains are all warning of something going on in your mind. You could be stressed out and you could have a headache. Or you could have some serious condition in the brain. You can have headache. So it depends upon what kind of headache it is. But you are right, giving symptomatic treatment as something that's going to cure is not the thing. It was not intended to be. You are supposed to have investigations of the headache and find out what is the reason. And if it is like a functional headache, but no tumor, no infection, nothing like that, then we can train you how to really address the stress and really relieve it by natural methods. Actually, that is my style. As a practitioner for 40 or some years, I cut down medications and made a living, very good living, because my patients used to come with 40, 30 medications. I used to cut them down in a 6 months time, maybe half or even more. If they understand what I'm talking about and improve their lifestyles, then the reasons why they were having these problems can be corrected. Lots of times people don't eat properly, don't exercise optimally, don't sleep well. Your generation is really a late nighters, including my children. You guys stay up to 2 or 3, and then I don't know when you sleep, but you get up in the morning, you won't have the energy. But I kind of somebody who really understood the quality of sleep, and I needed it, right? As a physician, I had to master that. So that is one of the first things that really helped me. Now, even if you sleep 2 to 3 hours, that's a very quality sleep. And usually I go to 11 or
right,
so,
right.
yeah, 11 o'clock in the night, and then get up at 4:30 or sometimes 3:30 too. That is the Brahma Muhurt. That's when I do the really focus and all that, right? Then I know the rest of the day will be like that. Actually, I slip into it. There is a
So
what
still you are practicing that.
no,
I mean
I'm not
Brahma,
practicing. No, I'm
right?
not practicing. The
Okay,
moment I wake up, I'm in that awareness. See, that is the one
okay,
thing I teach people about how to be awareness in the morning rather than thought stream. See, if you have
okay.
a thought stream and then immediately one thought leads to other, it will go. Then you need practice to control that. But if you are in awareness, you are already conscious, you want to be there without really getting into your bandwagon of whatever thinking comes, bills or work or whatever that can come, right? And you don't want to, then there's what is called staying in the being. That is a uh, thing that Ramana Maharshi taught with Atma Chintan. Once you are on that, then when you take a deep breath, you ask the question, who am I? And when you hold the breath,
Self realization.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that is one.
counting the breaths.
Yeah, when you realize, then you stay in that realization. And then thought is only under your control. It is not controlling you. That's the trick. But it was like that before for me. I had to do that practice, but then I understood that's all mind projection. And then
Okay,
I got that is they have a Sanskrit term for that. Whatever we are doing is called manolaya. That means the moment we stop the practice, they come back. Whereas mano nasha, where is the destruction of the so-called mind or thought construction, that is the one which doesn't allow the mind to project. Rather, it gives you the access to do whatever you want with the thought. So when I get up in the morning, that is what it used to be. From the time I get up till the time I get the thought, I used to prolong it. But now I don't even have to prolong it. It continues like that through the day. Like I'm talking to you guys now, I'm using my
mhm,
language, my thoughts to convey what I wanted to. But in my mind itself is quiet. That means it doesn't go to
Okay.
other things. I'm
Mhm.
talking to Nishid, I'm focusing on what he's talking to me about. I'm answering his questions. I'm not bringing everything else like I have to, oh, 6 o'clock, I have a meeting. None of that comes in.
So you're currently in US, right? I
Yeah,
mean, which part of US?
Iowa.
Okay, okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
So,
matter which part of the world we are anymore.
I mean, do you
Yeah.
miss India?
I don't have to because I communicate with India every day. My sister, everybody is there, right? So this has
And where
become,
is your family? I mean,
yeah,
your children.
yeah, they're all here. All my family is here except a couple of sisters in India.
Okay,
Yeah, but that's not the thing. The India, America borders are not there in my mind. That's the
okay.
being a world citizen. That's the reality for me, and that's why I take good things from India, good things from US, and we are richer by that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that kind of. Actually, you see, you are in India, I'm here, we are both talking, right? So
Absolutely, yeah.
where is the distance? Suppose you think something, I think something, and then we are talking about things in a different way. That is a different matter. Then we are fighting for something. But if you have understanding of what we are talking about, we don't have to have agreement. But at least we know what we are talking about, right? And then there is a peace and friendship within us, and that way we are not distant. That way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But like we are virtually connected, but
yeah,
when you go, there is some vibe, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
have
definitely.
vibe of the place.
Yeah,
So
definitely. You
still,
know,
like I was in Chennai from last 8 years.
yeah,
Somewhere I used to miss sambar and other stuffs like
yeah.
used to have in Chennai. So
No, no.
every
You
place is
when you
having
are,
their own specialty and the vibe
yeah,
you carry.
no, no.
So
When you are
so sometimes
i-
you
i-
miss,
into
I'm,
this, in,
according to my side, yeah.
yeah, yeah, your idea, that's fine. But it is as you understand the levels of happiness by investigating into yourself, you can go to the several higher levels of happiness than just sensory. you know
Okay.
the taste, the mango pickle or mangoes or any of those things used to be there, right? But then
Hmm.
there is what called pratyahara practice in yoga. What it does is it makes you to withdraw the senses from the object of sense which will provoked us to eat something, and then you kind of go up until the turn and then withdraw your sense. That's a practice you do not to really sacrifice but to have the control over yourself, and that happens automatically. The things that I used to enjoy, I can enjoy now, but I don't miss them.
I got it.
Ah,
So you're basically telling that when you do kind of meditation or you practice some kind of
yeah, all this.
vayams or pranayams or some yogic things, so you master all those
Yeah.
what you said.
No, no, no. The thing
Uh,
is, don't call them practices. It's the
okay,
understanding. Okay,
okay,
people may not do them because they don't understand completely. Even if they understand, that doesn't result in allowing it in their life. So that is what happens in the things that you do. Is a deep study results in deep insights. Deep insight intuitively felt. You realize the truth of them, and then they come into your life.
okay.
So it's not just about knowledge and then statements about them, and then you can say so many things to people, right? But if it's not real in you, you know that. You don't have to deceive yourself or anybody. Even if you tell somebody else, if it's not real, you feel that. You know that I'm telling these people, but it's not real for me. So our people, ancient rishis, they explored into this with calming the superficial mind, touching the inner intelligence and universal intelligence, and thereby they found phenomenal things about other planets or uh, like what is interior of the human being. They called Chidambaram. Ambaram. Chit means, inside intelligence. Ambaram is the room. There is a room where this is there. And for that, you have to antarmukha. Antar means inside. Mukha,
Antarmukhi, yeah,
turn
yeah,
inside. But you are always asking questions going out with intellect
right,
senses. That is not bad. But what it is use that for the purpose it is. But then when you want to really study object, use that senses and intellect to go out and do all of that because the object is outside. Whereas if you want
right,
to study your subjective self, don't use the intellect and senses. Use the intuition, feel and realize. See,
right, right,
yeah, that is the one people are missing because there's nothing wrong with science. There's nothing wrong with doing all that external activity, but don't think that process can help us inside to realize. Suppose you are fearful. How much measurement you
mhm,
want? You feel the taste of the fear. You know what it is, right? And then whether you are
right,
free of it or not, also you know about it. That kind of. So it's the simpler your meditation, the easier it becomes. The problem is we become too clever for our own good, too much thinking for our own good. And once you come out of that, it is very easy to realize our simple being that is inside. Ramana Maharshi one time lamented, like say, "Oh my gosh, just to be this simple, to be ourselves, we have so many creeds and religions and all those things, but you don't need any of them. Just keep your mind quiet, then be yourself, and that is meditativeness. When you are in that being without any effort, just because you are, it is there, and that is you, and that becomes a real meditativeness, which is state of being, not a practice or a process.
got it.
Yeah. To
Thank you,
understand
Dr.
this,
Gaurav.
you have to
Yeah, yeah,
calm it down. That's all. Once you calm it down, you will see it yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And like
Sure.
you have given me a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
So we'll be in touch, maybe
Okay.
everything.
Sure.
So yeah,
Sure.
thank
Thanks
you.
for coming up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So that is a very significant thing in this modern age because I'm a physician, I'm an informatician. By definition, informatician means I deal with data, that too big data, EMR data, right? So I can clog my clog my mind with all sorts of information just like that. But then this meditation is such a beautiful thing. Suddenly everything can drop, and I will be there alone in solitude. That's the function of mind. See, if you have a solitude of the mind, wherever you are, even though so much noise going around you, you are in solitude. If you don't have that, even if you go to a vacation, you take a villa and you want it, still your mind cannot stop because you don't have that solitude function of the mind. How do you get to that is the next question usually asked. I think you have to come to that in a negative way. What is preventing me for having my solitude? And once you take away the all the things that are not needed from your mind, you are in solitude. You're always in, but you only putting stuff on top of that. That's why your mind has become so much. That's why you want to understand the stimuli that coming to you. You want to understand your reactions to the stimuli that are coming to you, and then how do we separate ourselves from that? That means you watch that, the stimuli, the reaction, the thoughts, everything coming and going. If you really indulge in any thought, it will weave itself and net like a spider web, right? One thread comes out, and that thread goes to other thread, and then it weaves itself, right? And it gets caught in that its own web. Where if you really don't have these things coming up at you, but you are choosing them. You have a work you want to do. You only use those thoughts, but You are going to be aware of the present moment, and thereby you are not allowing other extraneous thoughts from the work to come into you. Only the thoughts are related to the work. That means you are focused on what you have to do. And after a certain time, you have the technology, the technique of what you have to do, and that becomes so natural. You don't have to think about it. You will just do them. Like a basketball player who shoot 10,000 hoops, and when he is doing then he is in the zone. That means he has no thoughts. He's in flow state, and so everything goes in. So understand what is the mind, what components it had, how does the thoughts come, how do they get stronger, how do they come and go, why do we have 16,000 thoughts a day, how we are amplifying them, how we are giving them more life by repeatedly thinking about them, either negative or positive. Okay, that there's an advantage of that, you using that, and also treating your negative thoughts, not going into anxiety, depression, and all that. But if you don't understand the mechanism of mind and you want to forcibly want to force it down, they want to take medications, you want to really do some crazy thing that is not good for you, like taking liquor or smoking or drugs and all that, it's not good for you at all. So, in this day and age, as civilized human beings, civilization means our civilization has really evolved to such an extent where we are intelligent enough not to seek assistance from external source, but stand on our own legs just by being quiet, being appropriate, being consciously thinking of what we want to think, and also being aware of our stream of thought and watching them and identify the negativity. You can replace to positivity, and then you go to from 10 thoughts to 5 thoughts, 5 thoughts to 1 thought, and the aim is to remain on that 1 thought. And after you are there for a while, you can transcend that and go beyond into that what they call samadhi or nirvana or sunya, whatever the term it is, it's the same thing. Then you really touch the bliss, and then the blissful nature continues. And you don't have to put an effort. Actually, you should not be doing any effort at that stage. Let it be. Let it come through you because you are quietened your external thought. So once the thought is quietened, you touch that bliss, and you don't have to tell anybody, or you don't have to really declare victory, or you are a superhuman being. None of it. You just relish in that bliss, and then you enjoy the life. Okay. So that is what I wanted to chat about today. I think Nishit came and talked to me for a while. It's okay. Even if people want to just to listen and think about it. What I invite you to do is observe this material, but don't follow it. Investigate it for yourself. See what kind of insights you are having from this presentation. And if you really investigate and you find there is truth in it, and try to really make it into your life, allow it to come into your life. That insight that you had by yourself, it's your own investigation, that insight you allow into. Otherwise, so many classes, so many discussions and all, they become more information, still overwhelming us. But you will not have the solitude I talked about. You will not have the silence I talked about. You will not have the bliss I'm talking about. But you may feel good because you heard something deeper, and then you also think that is understandable for you. Just because you understand, you go may say, "Oh, I'm such a big shot. I understood this deeper aspect." That is not the idea. The idea is to how you separate yourself from the suffering of the persistent thought, from the suffering of the you know unconscious thought, and suffering of the all the samskaras, that is ingrained thoughts coming again and again, bringing our negative experiences and making it real now, that kind of suffering. So you will have less suffering, more blissful existence, and also more attentive and focused work or life, whatever you do. And those are all significant benefits. And the biggest benefit of all is you will be the healthiest person when you realize this control over your thought and you have a quiet mind with you. You understand? That is what I was focusing on. As a physician, I always look for patients, right? That's as I move out of this reductionist mentality and wanted to treat the person as a person, it is apparent to me that we don't know much about thinking and the process of thinking, and then also what is materialistic thinking versus spiritual thinking. Thinking is always materialistic, but you go beyond thinking, then you are really in spiritual matters. So think about what I said. If it appeals to you, you have an intuitive awareness of the truth of the matter. Make sure the truth is allowed into your life, and that also, again, paying attention to that. And then whatever you are doing contrary to what I really know, then it could be out of habit you may be doing, so you want to come out of that too. Then you will have more joy and peace in your life. With that, I will take leave, and then I'll be seeing you again whenever I feel like it. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you everybody on the uh, Instagram. Thank you, everybody, on the Clubhouse. Thank you, everybody, on the Wisdom app, and also on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you all. I'll be seeing you again.